Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hater plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a day with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the oh well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Titan Ascendant's League. Of course, I'm Romeo, joined today with Anti, being produced by none other than Shabam. And today we got Zafa's little Chuds taking on the Dragoons.
I mean, this is where it all begins, Romeo. We have had 7 long weeks of Ascendant. We have taken 2 teams out of the running already, being Texas A&M Maroon and No Quarter Dynasty. And now we have 2 more teams getting taken out of the playoffs this week. And we're going to have to see which 2 teams it is going to be. But this is just going to be a recurring thing for Ascendant, right? Each week, 2 more teams drop. 2 more teams drop until the grand finals, where 1 team leaves us forever and 1 team remains the victor of Ascendant League. And I gotta say, if you've seen any of the pro matches these past couple weeks, I have always been a proponent for cooking. You've heard it from me since week 1, and I am being vindicated at every turn. All of these teams we've seen in Ascendant have already found their own little ways to cook, and the teams in Pro have also found their ways to cook. And now that everyone's cooking, I'm excited to see what comes out of the kitchen.
Yeah, this patch, or this meta, has been insane. Absolutely. We're seeing everything went from the mage's bot lane meta, and now Moore's broken in the top lane. Echo and Fiddle bot lanes are coming out. Camille's going support. What is League in 2026 if not just a messed up conglomeration of every champion going absolutely everywhere? At this point, every pick's a flex pick.
Perfection. This is beautiful and perfect. And the world is your oyster. You're genuinely allowed to pick whatever it is you want as long as you can justify it. And finally, teams are not just going for, we handshake this, we handshake that, because there's actually a reason behind the thoughts that they have to make each and every time. So right here, Zafa's little Chuds are going to be taking on Dragoons. That is the 3rd seed going up against the 6th seed, but only 1 win actually separates these 2 teams. So like, had one of these series gone the different way, we would see these teams in very different seeding. So they might be far away as far as the seeding goes, but they are not far away as far as the expected play goes. I'm excited to see what happens. Lock going to be the start of playoffs.
I hate this champion. I hate that this champion's in the game. I hate that he's not nerfed. I hate this champion. A great first pick. I mean, if it gets ahead, it just wins the game. It is worth mentioning, Zafa's little Chuds and Dragoons, they played on July 5th. It was the week 5 match. And Dragoons, despite being the lower seed, 1-2-1. So Dragoons has beaten Zafa's Chuds. This match is insanely close, because even that victory was a 2-1, and I believe the like final game, and it was like a 40-minute banger or something. So like, these 2 teams are ridiculously close. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes 5 games. And if it does, I mean, we're gonna get some cooking. Right now, kind of a standard draft though. Lock probably going mid. 50 Cal Taco gonna be on that Ezreal. On the other side, we have Shadow and Zan. Goofy Boy Joe gonna be on the Ezreal. But we have Shadow,
Leona,
Zahen,
whoa,
Seraphine, Leona. We don't like Ezreal Leona, is what it sounds like.
So it's not really a matter of whether or not we like Ezreal Leona, but a lot of the times when you do see a Seraphine, right, that is very much a lane-focused pick. And, well, when I say lane-focused pick, so when you have the Seraphine, a lot of these champions that pair with the Seraphine very well are extremely good at 2v2s. But more importantly than that, once Seraphine gets out of lane, that encore is so important to the entirety of the team. So you have things like, you know, Seraphine Sona, right? You know, Seraphine, you know, Ashe, as we've seen time and time again, Seraphine Lux, right? These picks that do so much work, and there's so many different ways how to deal with them. You take out the Milio, so that way the Encore has no real way how to do anything. You take the Braum, so that way you can always block the Encore. Leona goes a very different angle. Leona says, hey, I have an Ezreal as my AD carry. I do not care about whether or not my Ezreal has backup because he should be able to survive anyway, and I'm just going to be roaming around the map. Usually when we see that kind of a play style, we see a Bard instead of Leona, right? You know, one of these champions that is designed to walk across the map. And Leona's still one of the ones that we don't see so much of lately, although she's been popping up a lot more often, which I like a lot. I think that she has been undervalued. In the meantime, Kai'Sa signifies Dragoons don't care. This is a dive comp, right? You've got the Skarner, you've got the Kai'Sa, you got the Zahen, and to top all of those divers off, you have the Encore that will be roaming straight through both teams coming in over here. And all of a sudden, Kassadin, it is dive on dive on dive.
Yeah, this is gonna be a bloody match, to say the least. There is a lot of dive coming out from Dragoons. There's a lot of engage, and like we want to just slam in your face on Chuds. I feel like the only pick that doesn't fit either of the, like, what this match is about to be is Ezreal. I'm terrified for Ezreal. I mean, that guy, he can kind of disengage, but the rest of his team is going to be going in pretty hard. And even with the Leona, if she roams, I am worried about what happens when you leave a Kai'Sa and a Seraphine with an Ezreal. If an Encore hits, that Ezreal is screwed.
Yeah, I mean, if an Encore does hit, I'm going to be so real with you. If Knives gets hit by an Encore, just at them, right? Like, there's no reason to be picking Ezreal if you're going to be hit by Encore in neutral. In that bot lane, you just farm up with the Mystic Shots. You stay as far away as possible if your Leona is not in the area. The big question is whether or not we are actually going to be seeing Snapski roaming around with the Leona before the tier 2 boots come into play. So we're going to have to see whether or not it's jungle coming bot on repeat or people just going all around the map. But either way, we have a little bit of time to think, to ponder, and we'll go to a break as we wait for these players to fully get ready.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back as we get on the Rift for Game 1 of Zafa's Little Chuds taking on Dragoons. Are you ready for this, Anti?
I don't know if I'm ready. I mean, we're taking a look at these teams, and they are going balls to the walls. We can already see Shinxel picking up the Guardian on the Seraphine, which is particularly interesting considering that you're playing into the melee supports. So right here, you're seeing that it is all a focus on survivability for this bot lane, where this is the full-on dive-based team composition. In the meantime, on the other side, Zafa's Little Chuds going for some very offensive-based keystones, right? That is the electrocute on this lock, which I think the two of us were having a little bit of a discussion beforehand as to whether or not the electrocute would be seen or the Stormator would be seen. So, as you can see, it is all about raw damage. It is not about the survivability. It doesn't matter if teams are diving into you if you just kill them first.
You just kill them first. It's all fine. It's all fun and dandy if they just die first, I guess. I think this Locke versus Caston matchup is going to be pivotal to this match, right? Like, if Locke can't get kills, whether it's from the rotating or from the Caston itself, it's going to be a really, really difficult game for Chuds, I think. Whereas, if Caston gets super behind in lane, I imagine Locke's just going to run this game.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it time and time again. I'm sure that those of you who have played against Locke in solo queue or played with a Locke in solo queue understand this champion has the propensity to be absolutely disgusting, right? If Locke gets a lead, then it's so difficult to actually play against this abomination. But that is solo queue. This is a little bit more of an organized play sort of deal, right? You know, I'd like to make the argument that Ascendant League, where you have 5 players, all well above Masters, are going to know a little bit more about this teamwork thing.
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly dream. We can certainly... odds are they do. You would really hope so. Otherwise, what are we doing? But at the same time, chaos happens. And especially, we always talk about this when it gets to playoff seasons, but there is a new level of stress that happens when you're hitting playoffs in this league. You've worked all season to get here. Tonight, you're either advancing to the semifinals. Oh, that's a big engage coming from the Leona. The Zenith Blade is going to land. Ubis forced to run under the turret. That Ignite's going to take a lot of the damage. The chunk goes through. It's not enough to get the kill, but Kaiser's about to have a really difficult time farming this wave. Especially with the junglers on the other side of the map in silence, jumping right on top of Skarner. Skarner gonna blast the loving arms of that Gnar, and it doesn't look like he's really got anywhere to go. This could be first blood. It is. Gnar gonna find first blood. It is traded back. The Hen gonna be able to pick up a kill, but the rotation comes from the Lock. The Hen not gonna be able to get very far down the flash. It's a double kill going over to Gnar.
Shadow, Excalibur, and Zen both going down in the early laning phase, and 2 kills over to Silly Boy Joe definitely makes it way more difficult to actually play against this tiny beast. But one big thing to note here as well is the fact that both of those kills not only went over to Gnar, the early tempo went over to the side of Zafa's Little Chuds. 50 cal tempo, able to pick up that Rift Herald, and even with Zen coming down in this bot lane, I don't know how much more they can get.
Anything for them here, which is a bit rough, and like we said, like early game, if Chud's able to find an advantage, I really do think they can bring this home. That's always my cons. I think scaling is one of the most OP picks when we look at like Diamond and below. Like, especially like the Emerald Leagues, the Plat Leagues, the Gold Leagues, where matches go really, really long. But in things like Ascendant or Immortal, matches have a much shorter time to them most of the time. And late game insurance becomes significantly less worth it when teams start to know how to close out matches. That usually comes around the high Diamond and Masters tier. So that's why I'm a little bit hesitant with this Caston pick. I know we were talking about off screen, and you had some pretty good points about why Caston is good here, but I think the power of a Lock who can get ahead can prevent this Caston from getting any of his kills. Now, of course, Lock didn't get any of the kills in the rotation. It went to the Gnar. Zahen probably is going to have a really, really difficult time in lane for the rest of this game, I would imagine, unless Skarner can try to break him out. But we're even seeing in the bot lane, Ezreal is getting ahead of the Kai'Sa Seraphine lane.
Yeah, but if we take a look at this wave state right here, Shadow Excalibur's not too happy about this one. This could look to be a dive, but Silly Boy Joe just going to be backing off the ult in from Earl King. Like, I don't know, Romeo. There's still a lot that Cassidy can do early on. Level 6 is obviously huge, but big level 6 engage over here for Silly Boy Joe.
Slam goes through. Gnar getting a ton of auto attacks through Zahen. Going to pull him back, but not really going to be able to find a lot of the damage. And this is one of the difficulties with Zahen into this Gnar lane. Gnar has such an easy time disengaging from that Zahen. The Zahen can almost never stack his passive.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Zahen's one of those champions that you love to pick early on because you can flex him into that jungle. You can flex him into the top lane. There's just a lot of different things that you can do with this champion. But when people know exactly where it is they're gonna go, it becomes a lot lower value, right? This is just a standard thing for a lot of these high power flex picks. You can't really get the full value of them unless the enemy team doesn't have a read on you.
Fully agree. 100% hard agree with that. Dragon, though, has spawned here. The first dragon has been up. We're seeing both junglers posturing over it at the moment. The question is, who's going to be able to get the take on it? You would imagine Chuds are able to stack these dragons early. I would really
imagine
assume
that. The flash forward as
God,
well.
There's going to be the big gank. There's the encore, and it finds the Kai'Sa. And Turtle Kai'Sa's needing to worry more about the encores than the Ezreal. However, Skarner
Snapsy
is
goes
charging
in.
through. There's going to be the Zenith Blade onto the Kai'Sa. A little bit too deep from Snapsky. And they're going to be the one to fall in that play. It was looking so good, but a little bit of an overzealous nature coming from that Leona.
Yeah, I mean, Snapsy saw the play, saw the opportunity, said, you know what? I understand that there's a big chance that I do go down here. I just want
50
to
cal.
back off.
He finds it, but the stun's going to stop him against the wall. He's not going to be able to get on to the Seraphine. There's going to be the killer instinct forward. Good night to the Skarner, but the Seraphine does ultimately go down. Locke going to be able to find an early-ish kill here. It's all tied up of a bit of a bad engage.
No level
Goofy
6
Boy
on
Joe.
Zen.
Goofy Boy Joe. No, the Rift Walk. He's Rift Walking all over your face. The flash is going to get you away. As Earl King going to get one of those early kills onto the cast, and that's got to feel really, really good. Earl King.
Yeah.
Mark Boots trying to catch up. I don't think he's going to be able to here.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Boots does get, you know, that early kill, does manage to get the chase going, but Zen picking up that Rift Scuttler did mean that the level 6 was achieved. Skarner has the level 6 now, was able to immediately say, hey, you can't actually chase me towards this tower. There's something that you have to worry about now. And it was a big fight in the river, and it's actually very, very close between both of these teams. I'd actually argue that Dragoons come out on top there, but no dragon going to be taken just yet.
No dragon taken. When you have such a big fight for dragon there, you really are hoping something happens. There's going to be Zahen forced to use that Grim Deliverance, but it's not really going to find anything. Gnar contemplating that dive. Doesn't look like he's going to go for it. It's a very risky dive despite the lack of mana from Zahen. Just because that health bar on the Gnar, he's kind of having a very, very strong lane. But Zahen's still coming up ahead in CS.
Yeah, but once again,
there's going to be the big engage, and I think Kai'Sa's just doomed here, trying to run the opposite direction to make sure that their Seraphine gets out alive, and they do successfully keep their Seraphine alive, but that Hexa Dragon now should be firmly over into the pocket of Zafa's little Chuds.
yeah, and that kill lead existed for the shortest moment for the side of Dragoons, but Zafa's little Chuds immediately gets right back into the swing of things. Now, one thing to note with Dragoons here, they do still have the late game insurance of that Kassadin, and there's still a lot of really strong team fighters for this team. There's not really a reason to force this unless you're looking to bring your Kassadin down and your Kai'Sa comes in with that killer instinct. But right now, Zen still throwing those rocks on over, but they are nowhere near the other side of the pond.
Now it's gonna become the question of what can Dragoons try to do to kind of keep this game going forward. Right now they're not that far behind, only 1,000 gold down. They shouldn't really be able to get their hands on an objective though, right? Like That's 3 pushing lanes for Zafa's little Chuds. What I want to see out of Zafa is just them taking these objectives a lot quicker, stacking these dragons, getting these grubs, getting a herald, taking first tower. These are things that Chuds need to do to further increase that gold lead. Because 1,000 gold isn't going to cut it at the end of the day. Kassadin's one of the strongest scaling champions in this game. Kai'Sa and Seraphine always look good late into the game. And Zehen is also a champion that if you find one good team fight mid to late game and he gets rolling, you're going to win the game. You have a lot of champions on Chuds that want to get ahead and want to stay ahead, and they need a big gold lead coming out of this laning phase to really steamroll this game. So I really want to see more of these dragon takes. I want to see more of these purple takes, because right now you run the map. Go control the map even more.
I mean, go control the map even more is definitely a good call, Romeo, but it's easy to say, hard to do, especially when both of these teams have such explosive picks at their disposal. Earl King getting very, very close to finishing up that Rod of Ages, but even more important is this bot lane fight.
Yeah, the bot lane fight is fully underway here as Leona keeping Ulyss locked down forever. The Encore goes to mid and only finds the Leona. And now Ezreal just gets to stay on top of Kai'Sa. Their support does go down, but can they finish the job on the Kai'Sa? It's one auto away. It's blocked by the Seraphine, and now the Void Seeker is going to land. Seraphine taking a lot of damage here. Ezreal does get to finish the job on Xingqiu. True Shot Barrage not going to be up to follow. And that was a choice by Locke. That was a choice that we just witnessed.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Boots really wanted to make something happen, but the flash in from Zen to guarantee the double, and Zafa's little Chuds got a little bit too hypey, immediately punished for it. I know we said that Locke has to snowball, but this is a lot of commitment for whole lot of nothing for this mid laner. In the meantime, Earl King getting closer and closer to level 11. And we all know the tale that is Kassadin at level 16. But a lot of the time, the later and later that this game has been developed, people are realizing that level 11 Kassadin is so high value.
Yeah, level 11 Kassadin. I think level 11 Kassadin is where the champion really starts to take over the game. And Locke is not nearly ahead enough, right? When we say, like, getting ahead doesn't necessarily mean kills, but we're almost even. We're 10 CS away. That's not a huge difference. It doesn't look like the plates have been all that big, and these roams haven't been working as much as you would have hoped for Mark Boots. So it's just, this Locke pick is great. And again, if he finds one fight where he gets a bunch of kills, it works. I'm just surprised we've been taking so long to take objectives, right? We're 13 minutes in the game. All we have is grubs and first dragon. That dragon should have been taken in like 5 minutes. I'm surprised we weren't on that dragon right away, and Mark Boots is a big part of that at the end of the day. This Locke should perma be able to rotate over this Kassadin until level 11, and we haven't seen that heavily prioritized when it's coming to these objectives, especially when you have 3 winning lanes.
Yeah, instead, it's just been a lot of forcing onto the fights, but level 10 to level 10, Earl King actually getting dangerously close to level 11 here. Mark Boots, on the other hand, has zero fear whatsoever. I'm almost certain that this is going to be a back for tier 2 boots, and then level 11 is when Earl King is going to shine.
Yeah, I think the one benefit right now for...
Oh,
go ahead.
We're getting extra damage and Omnivamp on Kassadin. That's disgusting.
It's going to be a very ballsy cast and build, but I think it might just work. I mean, no deaths so far. The Rod of Ages picked up at a pretty decent time. I think the one thing for Locke right now is, even though Kassadin is about to hit level 11, he does have Luke's Bane. He does have the boots. This is where Locke really starts one-shotting people. And the one thing with Chuds late into the game is, even though I would say Dragoons favored, if you find the right stun on Kassadin, Locke still deletes them. Locke will still one-shot that champion if he can't move. And you have Gnar, you have the Silas who's able to take an Impale or an Encore, and you have Leona, of course, right? The Solar Flare, the Zenith Blade. If any of these champions can lock Kassadin down, he is still killable.
He is still killable, but Earl King just hits level 11 right on time for the second drag of the game. Ocean Drag going to get started up here, but it's almost impossible to fully contest.
The drop barrage can go through. The TPs are coming from the top liners. The dragon should be falling any second here, but Zen completely caught. does smite the dragon, but he's impaled away. He's going to fall. It's now a 4v5. There's the chains going in onto the captain. The double root comes through from the Seraphine. Grim Deliverance going to land. Zahen finds the Silas. There's Leona trying to lock in whoever they can. That's going to be the passive pop for Zahen. He should be able to try and get a dash. This could be the good escape. It's not going to be, as Mark Boots finds another kill in that fight as well. It's a winning fight for Chuds. 2 for 1, but you still get the Dragon with the Dragoons. I think Dragoons, honestly, is pretty happy with the way that played out.
Yeah, Dragoons extremely happy with the way how that played out. I was talking about how difficult it was going to be for them to contest the Dragoons on that objective, but instead, Zen goes in a little bit too early, right? Just gets a little bit too hypey on that Skarner, and immediately his entire team gets punished for it. Each and every one of these members tries to follow up on each and every one of these engaged windows, but instead everything is disjointed. It's just a controversial one at a time strat, and that strat remains controversial to this day for a good reason.
You don't like the action movie strat where everyone just dances in one at a time? That's not like your favorite thing to watch?
I mean, it's wonderful to watch, but if you're trying to win the game, maybe not the greatest thing to rely on. In the end, it is going to be a very good kite back for the side of Zafa's little Chuds. It's just making sure that they can get away from all of this, focus from Dragoons.
Yeah, getting away from that focus is huge, but I mean, Earl King going to find his first death, and that's the thing with Gaston, right? If you get locked down, you are doomed. And he can get locked down to the team. Meanwhile, topside, Nara overplays a bit, gets caught by the Skarner, is going to go down. Mark Boots finds the 1 for 1 in the bot lane off a good rotation. They sent their bot mid, Locke able to get a bot first, and just annihilates that Kaisa, and now this is where Locke is really becoming online, right? 3-1-1. On most champions, they're a fed, but it's playable. Against Locke, it's really hard.
Yeah, I mean, Riot definitely did a job of all time when deciding the champion's AP ratios, but right now we're going to have to see whether or not the members of Dragoon can actually survive against this monster, right? But the big thing is, when you're playing a dive comp, usually your plan isn't to survive. Your plan is to kill the enemy team before they have a chance to kill you. And it's actually very difficult for them to accomplish this onto Zafa's little Chuds because you have so many members of their team just designed for kiting backwards, right? You have, knives on the Ezreal getting locked up under tower. Just disregard everything I've been saying. Apparently, it's still very difficult to kite back against this team.
I think that's one of the big problems with the Ezreal pick. It is a bit difficult, but here's going to be Locke. That's the Requiem going forward. Not able to find the kill just yet. It does look like Seraphine's going to go away. So is 50 cal Taco, who barely gets out of that one alive. Oh, Zahen could be an issue. Does he have his passive? I think his passive should be. It's not back up. No, it's not. You're right. The bar is still orange. Zahen could be in a bit of a sticky situation here. There is no Mega Gnar bar, though, ready to go. So Zahen is going to be okay in the long run.
Yeah. Is going to be able to survive here. Shadow Excalibur honestly doing a pretty great job on this top side, getting bullied a little bit here and there, but in the end, does have the CS lead, does have a lot of kill participation, and more importantly, able to buy so much space for his team as the game continues. But once again, these big objectives is where you have to be worried.
Yeah, here's going to be that's a Skarner. Not going to be able to grab anyone, but he's taking a lot of damage. The Impale finds the Ezreal. That's going to be the Solar Flare going back in the Impale from 50 cal onto the Skarner. But Skarner is the tank. Skarner's tanking everything. Meanwhile, Ulis is on that Gnar. The Gnar bar almost filled. There it is. It's going to be up. Locke going to be first on the rotate. There is no TP coming from that cast, and that cast is going to be on the split push. This Rift Herald and now Baron spawn is coming very shortly, but nobody going to go down in that fight.
And nobody going down any time soon. In the meantime, we're seeing these teams just go toe-to-toe, try to get some sort of pick before these big objectives, but instead Zafa's little Chud simply manages to survive and get the vision set up around the dragon well before it actually spawns. Now, Zen's not going to be there anytime soon in comparison to 50 cal Taco, who's literally already in the pit.
Yeah, he is kind of just sitting there already, happy to go. 5 seconds till this Drake spawns. Of course, it is going to be that Mountain Drake. I actually think Mountain Drake is pretty solid throughout these teams, but it's very, very nice on Kassadin is the one big one. I mean, Locke obviously gets a couple more autos off, but Zahed and Kassadin benefit from this a lot, and it does look like Dragoons have taken this pit over. Gnar still on that top side, has the TP available, but it's already looking too little too late at this point. At this, you're only going to be able to play for fight. There's the two-shot barrage. They see it. It's gone. It's going to be a T2 for Dragon here.
Yeah, the thing about setting up for these objectives early is that you can't really threaten anything around these objectives against a die composition when you don't have all 5 members of your team, right? If you don't have enough people there, you're getting another big fight.
Wow. Mark Boots going to annihilate Jinxel and find the T1. Can he find Euless as well? Euless can be forced to flash. And with Baron up, this could maybe be an angle. It's a bit difficult unless Gnar can find the Kaiser that shoves back. There it is. Goofy Boy Joe going to find Euless. There's going to be the Rift Herald. The base is about to collapse. Baron's still up. We see as Kassadin maybe thinking something. He is charging that ultimate ability up, trying to spam the Rift Makers, but the Baron is the call. Rift going to get another charge in the T3. The question is this overzealous from Zafa's little Chuds? They do still have that Kaiser down, but Seraphine back up. Skarner going to be on his way. The half bar still chunked to half. This should be difficult. That's going to be the ult stolen. Impale going to miss, though. There's the Impale on 3. The Encore follows up. Grim Deliverance. Good night to Snapski. Good night to 50 Cal. Good night to 3 members of Chuds. And just like that, the game has been coin flipped. That's going to be a 4th. Locke not going to be able to lock him down himself. Oh, man, the turn is there for Dragoons.
Yeah, a beautiful, beautiful turn for the side of Dragoons. Fiki Kaltaku thought that he had it, thought that he had an opportunity. Zafa's little Chuds had everything in the right position, and all of a sudden, Zen comes up huge. Sinkulchul comes up even huger with the Encore follow-up. 3 CC'd into 3 CC'd, and just nobody gets a chance to play the game from the side of Zafa's little Chuds. You cannot disengage against a team that has 3 of your 5 members locked up for half the fight.
Oh, man. Oh, man, that's rough. Honestly, I think you just take the back there. I mean, in hindsight, of course, you take the back there. But it's just... that fight's still really hard to play with Kassadin up. Kaiser's not really the threat. And the worst bit was that Impale on all 3 was the disaster. That, at the end of the day, he might have not been doing the damage, but Zen made the play that won in the fight. However, Zahen's going to get locked down here. There's going to be the Purgatory. Zahen should be annihilated pretty quick here. It's a shutdown over to Locke, and you don't want that shutdown on Locke if you're Dragoons.
The Encore. Yeah, 50 Cal Talker right now is looking to get an Encore threatened over here, but there's no big objectives to really be contesting over outside of these towers. So Dragoons, they're just going to be backing off. They understand that they can't be losing any more of their Baron buffs. Right, Shadow Excalibur was already taken out in that top side for having the hubris of just existing in a lane when there could possibly be more than one member who is going to fight you directly. But in the end, regardless of how much tankiness you have as the Zahen, you're not going to be able to 2v1 just yet. Not on 2.5 items.
The 2.5 items is going to be a bit of a deal breaker at the moment. I do think this Kassadin, though, is getting super, super strong. Earl King is level 16, ready to go, ready to annihilate. Dragon going to be up at a mid-30. And I think for Dragoons, one of the biggest win con is getting that Mountain Soul. That Kassadin is going to be able to take much more of a punch with Mountain Souls. The Hen's going to be able to stack his passive a lot quicker. There's going to be an engage in the mid lane, of course. That's the two-shot barrage. Good night to Ubis. There's the TP coming to the Hen. Encore not going to find anyone. It's a big whiff, and it means Chuds will have the advantage when we come to taking this river pressure. Okay, Earl King going to maybe look for a flank here. Again, still level 16. Has a lot of damage to the arsenal, but it is a 4v5 at the end of the day. Lock on the rotate. Will be trying to cut him off. Earl King scouts it, goes over the wall to safety. Could this be Trudge Dragon?
Yeah, it absolutely could be. 30 seconds more on this dragon spawn, and I mean, Earl King might be level 16, but this is a far cry from the League Classic Cassidon, right? I mean, you only get 4 stacks of that Rift Walk available. No teleports in with the, one-shot Rift Walk shenanigans, but in the end, that is still going to be a huge influx of mana the moment that Earl King manages to pick up that Seraph's Embrace. The big thing to note in these fights, however, is how much power Jinxel and Zen have working together with that Impale, with that Encore, with the entirety of their team around them, and the entirety of their plan.
But that's going to be the solo for our Goofy Boy Joe once again down to start this fight. Onapski goes immediately after, and it's ruinous for Chuds. This might be the point where they start having a very, very hard time finding their way back into this game.
I mean, we are just talking about it, Romeo, where it's all about how much of Zafa's little Chuds can Dragoons actually lock up before they have a chance to play the game. And if you manage to get 2 people, 3 people in these big team fight ultimates, good luck existing. And Knives still has not picked up a quick Silver Sash, right? I mean, if this was the old Skarner, where's the point and click Skarner, that's like one of the first big things you buy. But now that there's a skill shot going on, you think to yourself, oh, well, I have a little bit more leniency. It'll be fine. I can Arcane Shift away. I can Flash away. There's just a lot of different ways how to deal with this. But Zen doesn't care. Zen's insane with all of these Impales just landing on priority targets again and again and again. And Dragoons have been able to drag back the gold lead. It is now even a big fight on this top side, but I doubt that it's going to turn into much.
Deliverance is used as a hand to get away. And it's pretty quiet at the moment. Zen in the back is going to find that lock. Can he maybe look for an angle? He's going to turn his attention to Goofy Boy Joe. Goes through the wall. Goofy Boy Joe could be impaled here and annihilated. The impale does miss. It's flashed through. It's a great flash from Goofy Boy Joe. Can he finally make something happen in a fight is the real question, though. And with this Cassidon diving forward, it could be very, very difficult. Zen going to be right on top of Goofy Boy Joe. Goofy Boy Joe, it's not even his fault. Ezreal this game is just rough. Encore going to be used. It finds 2. It finds 2. Mark Boots is able to find the Kaiser. Goes golden, but it's not going to be golden long enough. It's still, at the end of the day, going to be that mid lane diff now that Cassidon has scaled. And Dragoons get to run this rift. So much happening from this Gnar, but it's not enough. Earl King has scaled. Earl King has 3 items. Earl King has stacked his boots. Earl King is a legend, and he's sitting behind Zen. Zen does the work, and Earl King will continue to get the credit.
Yeah, and Earl King and Zen, a dynamic duo, especially with Shinxel's Encores being on point each and every time. That last fight, the Encore just barely managed to tag Mark Boots, and it was even more difficult for the side of Zafa's little Chuds to do anything to get back into safety. In the meantime, Shinxel could be in trouble here.
Shinxel maybe gonna get caught. I don't think so, though. It does look like she's just going to be able to hit that beat drop and walk away. It seems pretty safe for her at the moment, and I think that's where this is kind of becoming more and more difficult for Chuds. You're having hard times engaging. Although your lock is strong, Cassidon is scaled. Cassidon is scaled, and Zen seems to have picked that Skarner and just been running wild around this rift. He has been finding every impale he's needed. We have the hijack right now in Grim Deliverance. Probably not my favorite ultimate to hijack, especially when Seraphine and Skarner ults are available for usage, but we'll have to see if 50 Cal can make work on this. This fight, I mean, if Chuds lose this fight, that's going to be game. Skarner going to be diving in, doesn't get the grab just yet. Voidseeker going to miss, but a lot of poke damage still going through. It's one good engage from the game being over. Skarner, Gnar, wait, Gnar finds 5. The Grim Deliverance is popped, but Gnar is going to go down for a Sin. Sorrow Flare finds 2. But Earl King just does too much damage at this point in the game. 29 minutes in, level 16, level 17. Cassidon, 4, 1, and 11. Standing behind that tank of a wall that's dead, and it's just Goofy Boy Joe once again on that Ezreal. Nothing he can really do. He hasn't been able to do anything in this game. He's done his best, but this Ezreal pick at the end of the day caused him to just not really get to be an ADC. And despite the 3 winning lanes early, it's gonna be Dragoons picking up this one. in 30 minutes to take game 1 of this series.
Who cares about late game insurance when you can just win every single team fight? Dragoons off the backs of Zen and Shinxel managed to lock up so many members of Zafa's Little Chuds at just the right moments. It is CC on CC on CC that wins these games, and the backline diving champions that they've picked in order to follow up make it even easier for Dragoons. And you can see right now, they are starting this series off with a bang. 3rd seed, 6th seed, who cares when you're the one standing on the podium at the end? And just like that, Dragoons taking game number 1 with an insane amount of damage coming out from this Cassian, who is not Rift walking, Rift jogging, but Rift sprinting straight to that finish line. Game number 1 going over to Dragoons.
It's a brilliant performance from Dragoons. I really think Zafa's Little Chud's biggest mistake this game was just not applying as much pressure early. If you're gonna draft 3 winning lanes, you know the other team's cooking, you know the other team's scaling. You need to be finding every objective. And that's the problem with dive comps, right? They're great. In theory, dive comps kind of win every game, right? Like, you run early game, and if you win hard enough early game, you'll win late game. But you need to do a lot. You can't go even. You can't only be 1,000 gold up. If you're drafting comps like this, you need to be winning the game that first 20 minutes. Otherwise, it gets really, really hard for you. And ultimately, they just weren't able to close it out early enough. They weren't able to find as big of an advantage coming into that laning phase. And at the end of the day, I mean, the jungle mid combo from Dragoons, that's going to be the combo it looks like to watch going later into this series. They did an incredible job, especially in that mid to late game. Zen and Earl just running, just like you said, Rift sprinting and impaling their way to a victory in this game 1. And now I'm really curious to see what changes have to be made from Zafa to try and find a way to come back in the series.
Yeah, I mean, lock off the table. We're going to be seeing some very interesting counter picks as the series go by, but don't go anywhere because game 2 is right around the corner, and Banger is a great way to start.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back as we get ready for game 2. Dragoons and Zafa's little Chuds. Of course, Dragoons picked up game 1, found some great team fights. I mean, it was the jungle mid connection ultimately. Brilliant impales, and like we were kind of talking off the cast, the Seraphine Skarner combo. Very, very
Oh my
strong.
god.
Some massive picks on the table now. Seraphine gone, Skarner gone, Locke's gonna be gone. A lot of these really, really strong champions. Gnar, which has been a classic, like, blind and or counter pick to top side as well, gone. We got the Wukong and Mel already been away. Is there any key picks still up that you're like, yes, I really hope someone locks this in? For me, it's Mordekaiser.
That's a good question, right? Because like when it comes to key picks, right, that I hope for, you don't want what key picks I hope for, right? Because I hope for some evil BS that I don't think anyone should actually be picking right now. But if we're talking about key picks that are actually very relevant in the meta, Victor is huge. But considering that Dragoons are already banning away things like the Mel, like the Ziggs, these mages that can be flexed into mid and bot, I don't really expect to see things like the Victor come out. I mean, Silas is already taken off the table, so we're not getting any Silas AD carry. We already saw some stuff like Akali AD carry if you looked over the pond. But there is still a lot of propensity for other things that can happen. Like Leona's off the table, so there's no more Soraka Leona. Seraphine's off the table, so there's no Cassiopeia Seraphine. Like there's just a lot of these, I guess slightly outlandish picks that are no longer available now. So we're seeing a lot of the revert to normality, right? Nothing too crazy. The Caitlyn is going to be taken up blind, so this is almost certainly going to be responded to with another AD carry, or very specifically the Victor. But considering it's Dragoons, I think they're just going to double down, pick another AD carry, and say, we're just going to play for the team fights, and if we screw you over in the team fights, it doesn't matter how the laning phase goes.
I almost, like, there's a lot of good options right now. Sivir Karma are going to be a great lane. Also, gives Karma a chance to rotate if they need, but, like, you are kind of saying we're just going to wave clear it, and hopefully Caitlyn doesn't get too many plates in lane and give our supports both a chance to
Alistar, okay.
It's the classic counter into Sivir. It has good roam potential. Break that spell shield, of course. That said, right now I still favor Dragoons comp. I mean, their team fight's already looking nasty. They have that flex pick on the Mbessa. I'm curious to see what they end up going jungle. I almost would love to send that Mbessa top and have a Xin Zhao come out here. I think Xin Zhao's looking kind of nasty.
Xin Zhao is definitely a possibility for the side of Dragoons. I honestly think that the big thing for Zafa's little Chuds right now is not just the ability to have, a Caitlyn and Alistar. Remember, these two champions, they are disgustingly good in that 2v2, especially with that added range advantage into the Sivir. Doesn't matter how fast Sivir can clear the waves if she takes half her health bar for stepping up. You have an Alistar. You can dive. Now you have a jungler that can dive with you. The Nocturne, possibly the best jungler on the patch, going to be extremely, extremely powerful. You were talking about a Xin Zhao. I was saying you don't really want to just slam the Xin Zhao unknowingly, because there is the possibility of the Trundle on the other end, right? There's a lot of these picks that people kind of forgot are counter picks that people are slowly remembering are actually playable into these champions as a response. It's going to be the Vi on the other side to make things a living hell for Knives over here. But right now, the final pick going into that top lane into the Mbessa is the Jax. Okay, so Silly Boy Joe on that Jax going to try to make things clear. This Jax absolutely knows what he's doing.
I don't know if I love the Vi pick, to be honest. I don't think you have such a good team fight comp, and then we lock in the Vi, and I get the Vi can do a lot to get on to, like, the Caitlyn. It can do a little bit to peel the Nocturne, but I feel like there was a lot of better answers here.
So what I will say about the Vi, right, is that one thing that you do have to remember is your team, if you are Dragoons, has a Oh my gosh. I don't know why I can't remember words, but your team has quite a bit of power in that team fight, has quite a bit of AoE with that Sivir, with that Vex, right? The ability to just get so much damage off across the entirety of the team. Vex needs a reset, right? Vex needs a takedown. So if you can lock down one person for that early damage, which is the big thing that this team actually does lack, then you can be in a very good position here. In the meantime, Silly Boy Joe making this Jax fully known. Shadow Excalibur taking a lot of damage early, but did not miss out on any of that experience.
That Jax gonna be looking already really good for that Ambessa. I think my thing is just like, and like this might be a crazy take, like something in a Moo pops that Nocturne spell shield like easier and like can have better team fight ultimates to help find a reset. Maybe I'm nuts. I get the Moo pick is like not as good the higher you go, but I just
think
feel
about the only issue with the Amumu is that if you're picking Amumu into Nocturne, Nocturne, which is the one issue that Nocturne has early, is that he doesn't have so much power just to walk in and start invading people, and all of a sudden you're giving him a champ that he actually can
did
do
invade
that to.
this game. He did invade level 1, cleared the entire red side, and then immediately jumped on Shinxol, who was forced to burn flash and heal there. Nocturne already splitting the map on that level 1 invade. Vi's going to be crossing over. It looks like that play worked out very, very well for 50 cal.
Yeah, but the big thing about that is that 50 cal Taco did show up on Vision, which means that Zen already knows for a fact that the red buff has been taken, and that was the early one, so you just split the map, you go for that vertical jungling, nothing ventured, nothing gained, and in the end, it's going to be a relatively even trade for both sides. At the very least, you managed to take both summoners off of Shinxol, but this top lane is honestly the part where I'm the most interested in, because we have seen the Jax picked as the quote-unquote counter pick into the Ambessa time and time again. But Silly Boy Joe on this Jax, needs to show that this skill check is absolutely going to work out.
Yeah, you certainly can't be losing that top lane with that R5 counter pick, or else things are going to get much, much harder for your team here. We do see Vi now is able to sit top, which I actually don't think is bad for the Vi at all. I mean, like, once you're level 6, going bot into that Caitlyn is, like, nice, but, like, trying to affect that Jax early isn't bad. The one thing we are seeing here, though, is that level 2 Raptor camp, Nox already on it. Nocturne is going to get it, and that's the thing you kind of risk when you do that first full clear into the enemy jungle. You need to make sure you're getting on that Raptor camp, and Vi did not have it scouted at all. Zen had no idea that Nocturne's already there, already cleared the Raptor camp, and just like that, Nocturne is going to get level 6 so much quicker.
Yeah, I mean, Nocturne should be able to get level 6 relatively quickly, but I'm pretty sure that Zen understands the respawn timers. You have Earl King also walking up, making sure that the Raptors are gone, so it's just going to be yet another case of vertical jungling for both sides, right? Neither of these teams actually going to be losing out much in terms of the pacing. Now, on the top side, there's not going to be a chance for the dive onto Shadow Excalibur, because it is going to be Zen on that.
Shadow going to be forced to flat. There's going to be the tower shot. The first blood goes over to Ambessa, and just like that, Shadow Excalibur going to be able to find the kill on the Jax despite the counter matchup. It's a brilliant deflection of that tower dive.
Yeah, I mean, we say counter matchup, but I said it before, right? This is not a counter pick. This is more of a skill check, right? You say, hey, you know what? You're playing the Ambessa. I think I'm just better than you. I'm going to play Jax, take Ignite, and then just 1v1 you. If you are diving with Ignite, if you have the R5 counter pick and it doesn't work out for you, good luck existing the rest of this game. This is top lane. You die once, you die the rest of the laning phase, especially into an enemy laner who has teleport. Shadow Excalibur could be in trouble here, but with that final bonk coming in from Silly Boy Joe, we are going to be getting an evened up kill count. Not so much loss for the side of Shadow Excalibur.
Final bonk is going to be nice. Like you said, they're not losing too much. Their wave was pushing, but it is still that return kill. You don't love to see it. That said, my jungle brain goes, Nocturne got his Raptor camp. Nocturne got the clear. The vertical jungle's broken, and Nocturne now is 16 CS ahead, which is huge in the jungle. They're going to hit 6 off this clear, although there was a nice gank coming bot to secure the Alistar kill. Nocturne's about to be online after this Garam. Oh,
yes.
Vi's looking for the invade.
Yeah, I mean, you have so much priority over on the side of Dragoons here, especially with Jinxel coming up. Look at this top lane. Once again, a fight back and forth between Shadow Excalibur. But in that bot side, we are seeing the potential 2v2. Oh, no.
Oh, God. Zen might be caught here. It's a beautiful invade coming from Ahri and Nocturne. Now Nocturne gets the kill. There's going to be the paranoia right on top of the Vex. Vex got nowhere to go. The flash in front to cause the flee to the behind. But Vex is going to dive on top of Mark Boots. It's not going to be enough as Mark Boots gets the kill on Earl King. And now it's another stun coming onto the Shinxel. Shinxel trying to run away. Is able to pop the heal, but it looks like 50 Cal is just running this.
Yeah, and 50 Cal Taco with that level 6 going to make it clear who is the king of the jungle this time around. Nocturne, I've said before, is one of the strongest junglers on this patch. You got to be so careful here. No level 6 yet for the side of Dragoons. And had Earl King or Zen had an ultimate available, that would have guaranteed a dead Nocturne, but at the very least, going to put an end to this vertical jungle shenanigans.
Yep, vertical jungling dead. Nocturne comes out super ahead. 53 CS, might not have a kill, but it's up quite a bit in gold. Has that paranoia available. We are going to see the cease and assist coming soon. I think the question for this game for me, oh wait, there's a huge charm. Alistar with a big roam, and it looks like Vex is just going to be going down again. Gets the flee. They're alive, but they're going to lose a lot on that gank. And I think right now the real question for this game is how much can Nocturne and Alistar do versus the Karma Vi? That's more of the matchup we're looking at in this game compared to last game, just on the nature of what these champions do. Nocturne wants to powerhouse this game. He wants to get some kills. He wants to find a lot. And Alistar is a great roaming support when needed. And then on the other side, I mean, you have a lot of matchups where you're just trying to survive them until these team fights come out. And Vi is going to be your facilitator all of this laning phase as it continues. So I'm really curious now that we have level 6 jungler. What's going to happen on this map?
Yeah, I mean, at level 6, these junglers have the ability to just start making life a living hell for the enemy jungler. But right now, Zen on the back foot here, trying to make something happen in this top side. I doubt that you can actually lock down this Jax here. Honestly, Shadow Excalibur in a very good spot, regardless of where the CS lies. Just having that teleport advantage means that you're able to do so much more in terms of the overall map pressure. Grubbies have been started up, but only 2 are rotated up here for the side of Dragoons, and 2 immediately going to get matched by the mid and support for the side of Zafa's little Chuds. In the meantime, the Hex Flash forward from Snapsy is just going to make things a little bit more uncomfortable for Earl King, but I doubt we're going to be seeing much more than just a quick trade, a quick electrocute proc, and another reset for the Hades players.
Yeah, it's been a very safe game compared to the last one, I want to say. But I don't hate. It's very controlled. We're getting a lot of fights that are not a lot of follow-up afterwards. Dragon is up. I'd love to see a trade here when you know Nocturne. The question is, are we going to look for anything? The cease and assist is up. The cease and desist is up, rather. Vi is looking, posturing towards that dragon, but Nocturne's already cleared those grubs, so it might be over on the timing for this.
Yeah, I mean, Dragoons, once again, they are in the area earlier on, but they're not able to actually do much with it. Feels like Blue Side's just a little bit cursed this series, but we're going to see whether or not they can actually turn these early lane priorities into actual objectives. In the meantime, Shadow Excalibur going toe-to-toe.
Grandmaster at Arms going to be propped. The Flash gets the Ambessa under tower. They are going to be able to make it out of that one alive. Paranoia going to be popped here. It goes forward on to the Vi. The Vi watches as Jinxel dies right before their eyes. Now Ahri is on this rotate. The charm goes for good night to Zen. And now Ulis, I mean, it's the ace in the hole. It breaks the shield. Alistar going to make sure that they go down. And Mark Boots does take too many tower shots, but it is just an execute at the end of the day, so they're feeling pretty good about that dive as well.
Yeah, and Mark Boots manages to get so much off of that roam. Earl King just trapped in that mid lane. The Vex counter pick really not doing so much for them. And in the end, it is going to be Zafa's little Chuds picking up the first drag 11 minutes into the game. Neither of these teams really seem to care about the dragon stacking early on. Instead, it's all about the laning. And by God, this laning has been exciting.
There's a lot of fighting happening. Right now, though, Zafa's little Chuds are so ahead. 3,000 gold up. They have that first dragon. They have the grubs. They're looking pretty good. I think one thing to note about this entire series as a whole, though, we're watching some of these dragons happen very late.
Right?
It's like 10, 11-minute dragons coming out.
Yeah, I mean, it happened in game 1, happened in game 2, and both times it is blue side that's kind of dropping the ball, especially when they have the early prio, especially when they have the opportunities. But this time, I mean, I think it makes a little bit more sense, right? Dragoons, they know that Nocturne has the paranoia available. They can't just be starting these objectives across the map without having an idea of where exactly 50 Cal Taco is. But right now, take a look at this dive.
The dive's looking very strong. That's going to be the public execution. And it's lights out for Do You Need a House as he goes right out. Silly Boy Joe going to be the fallen here. As Mbessa's looking pretty good right now. I mean, not a lot of plates have come out. Jax does definitely have the plating advantage. We might see another dive, though, try to happen here onto Eula's. Already started the rotation. Isn't going to commit to it. Caitlyn's in a pretty good position, though. They're up 30 TS. They have 3 plates. I think Zafa's little Chuds are just in such a good position to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, in the meantime, you see Snapsky just threatening that dive over and over again. And this is exactly what we were talking about early, right, Romeo? Where, at the very least, the Alistar has so much threat on the dive. And a lot of the time, you have to be very careful if you are a low-range AD carry who has no mobility into an Alistar, like the Sivir, for example. Just in so much trouble here. In the meantime, you know, Silly Boy Joe, very unhappy about
Silly
the
Boy on
earlier
top.
fights.
That's going to be the tower shot. I thought that might have went out a little bit. Oh, wait, Nocturne's going to be there. Meanwhile, there's a gank in the mid lane. We're making a play in 2 lanes right now. Paranoia right on top of Shadow Excalibur. Here.
Yeah, Paranoia directly on top of that Mbessa, and the panic attack is going to resolve with a full tower taken. And Silly Boy Joe is no longer joking. It is just all business from here on out. The Jax is now unlocked with that Triforce fully completed.
Our Triforce fully completed. Now Ulas is going to get caught. They know they're caught. They leave to make sure their support gets out. But it's another kill over to that Caitlyn. And Sivir is just having such a hard time this game. Here comes Ari on another rotation. We've seen so much out of Mark Beats and very little out of out of Earl this game. It does look like there's a good break for the Karma. The Nocturne farming the Krugs over, going for the Karma kill. It does look like Karma's able to get out of that one, but it's still, nevertheless, the Chuds running this map.
Yeah, the Chuds have taken over, and once again, it is going to be Mark Boots on these roams, able to make so much work with this Ari. And it's just very important to making this dream of continuing on in playoffs come to life. We've seen it time and time again where Mark Boots will just roam down to the bot lane and try to force something. It didn't quite work out with the lock, but this time around with the Ari, when you got 3 dashes to work with, there's a lot more of a possibility at actually making these roams come to life.
Roams, though, they are definitely coming to life at the moment. What do you think right now Dragoons going to do to get back in this game? They're down 3,000 gold. We did say that their team fight is strong, but they're so far behind. I'm worried, like, the wallet gap. I mean, yeah, 6,000 gold behind. It's a lot to come back from.
Yeah, I mean, wallet gap's definitely one way to put it. What I will say is that it's not just so much of a wallet gap, it's more of the item breakpoint gap, right? So, Ubis, for example, on that Sivir was doing relatively well as far as the items are concerned, as long as you can finish that, not Fiend Hunter Bolt, but the Navori Flicker Blades. Sivir with the Flicker Blades does so much more work in these team fights because you always have the ability to just throw out more and more ricochets, and when those ricochets can crit, you get way more action.
Paranoia on the follow-up, but Earl King already there, and this might be the out-rotation that Dragoons did. They're trying to stick even more. Ari running wild. They finally get the shutdown on the Nocturne, but two of them have already gone. Can Vi get out? That's going to be the question. The Vault Breaker to try and get away, but Shinxel might be caught here. There's going to be the Orb of Deception going forward. The knock-up comes from the Alistar, and the Vi might get away, but the rest of their team is dead. But they do get a pretty healthy shutdown from that Nocturne. They are going to lose the Rift Herald here. Sivir might be able to get a turn as well. I actually think this play favors Dragoons in the long run.
Yeah, it does favor Dragoons. Overall, it might have been a 2 for 3, but at the very least, Zen is still alive. The dragon is available. There is no paranoia. So, whether or not Dragoons are going to turn this into a dragon take is what decides whether or not it is a positive. If you can take this mountain dragon, I believe that it is a positive, but silly boy Joe right now trying to stop this from happening. Forced to jump out. Dragon is at half health here, and the paranoia pops once again.
It goes in. The objective bounty is claimed by Dragoons, but the fight is going to be hard. Nocturne goes down pretty immediately. Sivir going to be hit, but for how long? There's going to be the dash away from Ambessa, leaving Ulis just completely caught in a bad position. The rest of the team left to die in the pit. It's a Vault Breaker over the wall. It's only Vi who gets out. It's a triple kill, goes over to the Caitlyn. The positioning there. Bring me into what went wrong here for Dragoons as they get ace.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good call on the dragon, but the moment that the paranoia comes on through, 50 Cal Taco just dashes right on in towards that back line, looks for the steal, not able to get it, and Dragoons, they start cheering, they start getting a little hypey, they understand, all right, we have the opportunity, we have the ability to fight, we have so much damage on our carries here, especially with Ubis finishing that Navori Flicker Blades, and it's so big, but in the end, you're still down as a team, even without the Nocturne, right? Knives on this Caitlyn has been able to do so much work, just completely and totally uncontested, able to auto every single moment that he wants. In the meantime, another night, the lights go out, and the Mafia have already picked their final victim. Earl King going down once again. These side lanes are not safe by any means.
It's just a nightmare at the moment. It's an absolute nightmare. Every time Paranoia is up, somebody is going down, and that's what's making this so difficult for Dragoons. You are now officially down 10,000 gold. It is 40k to 31k. You're hurting really bad, and the gold's on Caitlyn. It's on Ari. Nocturne's even got a little bit of wealth in him. We got an 0-1 and 13 Alistar. You're down an item on almost every person on your team besides, I mean, even that Jax has that finish Sundered Sky before Ambessa is able to finish their second item. And we're only 19 minutes in the game. Gold gaps like this are impossible to come back from a lot of the time unless there is a lot of mistakes made from the Chuds.
I mean, mistakes is definitely one thing, but Dragoons have to lock in if they want a shot of bringing this one back. Impossibility is one way to put it, but the question is, can you actually play the game?
Nope, no game gonna be played tonight from Earl, who might have had a world-class appearance on that casting, but this Vex is really not doing him any favor.
Yeah, I mean, Kassadin was so strong for Earl King, but now with the Vex counterpick, you know, he just hasn't been able to get off the ground. Right, a lot of these team fights require Earl King to be at the right place at the right time, but most importantly, having enough of the follow-up damage from the team to actually get the resets off onto the entirety of Zafa's little Chuds. In the meantime, Ubis is just going to be in a terrible position.
The Ignite is trying to get a lot of the damage off now that they have found themselves into a bit more of a safe area. Here comes the Caltaco. Paranoia not available. The team is just going to run away as quick as they can off the back of here.
On the hunt for another game, because Dragoons right now are just so far behind. Very difficult for them to actually get a chance to play out this game. They are going to start using the buddy system. That is exactly what you should be doing when you're trapped in a survival horror game that is Nocturne is fed. Like, there are certain champions where if they get fed, there's no longer the ability to play the game normally. Right? Kha'Zix is one, Rengar's another. Nocturne is a disgustingly good one in the current meta. And you can see 50 Cal Taco making so much happen with it. Lights go off once again.
Lights are out. Paranoia's been used on top of the Mbessa, who's fleeing under turret. There's going to be the going forward from the Vex. Public Execution not going to land. Alistar forced to flash. It's a winning fight right now for Dragoons, but Jax is not there. Jax, I believe, has the TP available if he needs it. Under the turret, Good Boy Joe. They're going to look for the kill. Season assist. There's going to be the Vault Breaker, but the barrier keeps them alive. And now they're looking to turn the fight around. The ADC going to be way too far
This
off.
is down.
There's Ace in the hole. Earl going to fall next. And it's just once again another turn from the Chuds, who find themselves 3-0.
3-0 in a 4 versus 5. And in that bot lane, Silly Boy Joe just taking more and more from them. Dragoons just look everywhere as their kingdom crumbles. And no matter what happens, it seems like Zafa's little Chuds have exactly the answer necessary for them. Silly Boy Joe able to take not just the inhib tower, but the inhib as well as the Baron goes down. It is a perfectly placed split push for Zafa's little Chuds here. And once again, just utilizing everything at the perfect timing to get out and get the resets going so nothing can be done. This dragon is going to go down certainly to the side of the team with that purple worm buff.
That purple worm buff is just, oh man, like you're going to get your second dragon. To be fair, once again, these dragons have been being taken very, very late. We start at 10 minutes, so we're only getting to like our third dragon of the match. It is only going to be their second dragon. They're far off soul, but I think they'll end the game maybe before even this third dragon comes. There's going to be the Paranoia right on top of the Mbessa. Public Execution going to miss. Once again, Shadow Excalibur going to be sent right to the gray screen.
Yeah, directly to the gray screen and seeming to be directly to the next game, right? Zafa's little Chuds might just end it during this Baron push. That is already 75, no, I believe that's, what, 90% crit chance on this Caitlyn now? And Knives has just hit the Fountain Laser Caitlyn status. And this Fountain Laser is the only way that they can actually take out these members. Oh my god.
There's gonna go the buy. Next follows the Sivir. Good night. Ace in the hole gonna delete the Karma. It's just for the symbolism. It's a decimation from Zafa's little Chuds. So we're gonna end this game 17,000 gold ahead of Dragoons.
And with more than 1 kill a minute, Zafa's little Chuds strike back in game number 2. Knives and Mark Boots, I believe, never died a single time. Just able to output so much damage, but a lot of the power in this game was off the back of 50 Cal Taco on that Nocturne. Just the early invade, the early gank in the bot lane, but more importantly, the coin flip around that bot side jungle where 50 Cal Taco got the first Paranoia of the game off. And let me tell you, Romeo, we've said time and time again that Nocturne's first Paranoia is his most important, and by God, did they make it work.
Man, that Paranoia came at just the right time. And I mean, this time we've seen Zafa's do exactly what I wanted to see from them in the first game, only a little bit later, right? So they hit level 6 in that Nocturne, and from there, it was invade central between the Nocturne and the Alistar and the Ahri, right? They rotated around the map. They found their early advantage. Said, let's steamroll. Let's do it on repeat. And that was the issue, right? Like, early game, you kind of have buy against the world, and then this time, I mean, when you have that core rotating on repeat with Chuds, and Earl's not able to get out of his lane, you're gonna find the wins. And I think one thing I'm learning from after these first 2 games is that mid-jungle has been a huge determining factor of both these games so far. First game, I mean, it's Skarner and Caston. This game, it was the Ahri Nocturne. These junglers, and I mean, of course, the roaming support came out. The Alistar was a big, big part of this match. But the mid junglers seem to be where we need to be keeping our eyes on as we move the game through, because it's these combos that are making some of the biggest differences in the mid to late game stages, by whether it's an invade, whether it's a rotation, whether it's a dive. And I think Chud played this game very, very well.
Extremely, to say the least. I mean, we saw Mark Boots trying to force some of these early roams in that last game. It did not work out for him. This time around, going to be working out beautifully. But either way, game number 1 was a wonderful game from the side of Dragoons. Game number 2, a stump from the side of Zafa's Little Chuds. Game number 3, now we have no idea where this series is going, but we got a banger on our hands, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Don't go anywhere, because game number 3 is coming up right next.
You do like you do like crazy, oh 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 crazy, oh 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 crazy crazy, oh oh crazy, oh 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 crazy, 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 you do like crazy,
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back as we get ready for Game 3. Of course, 1-1 right now. Dragoons took Game 1. Chuds took Game 2. It's anybody's game for Game 3 in this best-of-5 series. One team season comes to an end today. The other are going to go to the semifinals. And the question is, who is it going to be? It's been 2 banger matches. We've seen the Chuds have a really, really strong showing in this last game. Game 1, though, Dragoons were able to draw the match out enough for that casting to come online, and we've seen it kind of steamroll alongside Zen on that Skarner. It's been a very much the mid-jungle synergies that have been making the big differences here. What are you expecting to see come out this game, Anti?
Honestly, I'm expecting Dragoons to go for another one of these lower priority mid lane picks that I still think are very good in the right hands, in the right settings. But what they need to do is they need to find a way how to stop Mark Boots from getting these roams off, because Mark Boots is so good with the roams. If he can get his hands on a champion that allows him to just dash over walls, to get into a good position, right? Just so much that you can actually do with these champions. The lock didn't quite work out. The Ahri absolutely demolished that game, right? So they need to find a way how to keep Mark Boots off of these roaming champions. The moment I say that, we see the Rise immediately slam down. You need to have a Cassiopeia. You need to have an Anivia. You need to have one of those 2 champions. These are the 2 that you have to worry about if you are playing Rise, right? And immediately, we do not see either of those champions being slammed.
Looks like we might be getting the Lucian Leo coming out really early. Lucian Talia. Is that a Talia into the Rise, or is that a Talia jungle? Oh, you're going to your happy place right now, because this draft is not making you too thrilled.
If you are Chud here, you steal the Pantheon, because that is a Talia Pantheon. I am calling it. I see it from 50 billion light years away, and it is not a Talia Pantheon. I am going to bed. This is just going to be the end of this game. So, either way, they do have the Shinzao Slam, so that makes me think that they might pick a Trundle instead. Will be a mistake. You should just take the Pantheon here. But no, it is the Trundle. So Dragoons are going to take the Trundle as a specific counter pick into that Shinzao. Now, what that does mean is you don't have any real ways how to threaten that mid lane so much. Trundle with that Pillar of Ice at the very least is going to be able to slow up Mark Boots on the Rise, so that way that, you know, W will be able to land. But I will say that it is going to be a little bit difficult for the side of Dragoons here, because I don't know if Earl King can really get all that much done.
Yeah. Here's the thing with the Trundle pick, though. I think the Trundle pick is a little fake in the Xin Zhao jungle. Like, it's good. I get why it's a counter matchup, but there's lots of ways I've seen a Xin Zhao win. I think the real issue for Xin Zhao, why would we ever lock Xin Zhao into Talia? That's nuts. That's nuts.
There's a Lucian Milio.
Lucian, Milio, Trundle, Talia. How does Zin, like, Zin doesn't really get to play this game. I'm going to be so real. How does this
definitely
win this
right about
game?
that.
Why did we lock in Zin? I love Zin. I'm a Zin main. I'm basically a Zin one trick. If I seen the Talia Lucian, I'm not locking in Xin Zhao. And now, I mean, he's doomed. He's doomed. We're locking the Akali. Is that a... What is... I hate Chuds draft. I hate it. I think it's awful.
So, I'm guessing this is going to be the Akali mid and the Rise top. So that does still mean Mark Boots is still on a champion that can very much get these roams off. I went from not being the hugest fan of this for the side of Dragoons to somehow actually enjoying this for the side of Dragoons. You know what? I apologize ahead of time. I definitely didn't expect the amount of cooking that was going to be going on here for the side of Chuds. Red side has had a 100% win rate in this series so far. Lucian Milio going to be a very strong 2v2 lane. At the very least, the Draven Nautilus is also very strong, but I do think that Draven Nautilus is much more of a we can totally slam you sort of lane rather than an this is mathematically correct sort of lane. There's arguments to be made for the picks, but at the very least, Chud have their work cut out for them. They have not made it easy for themselves, but they can definitely make it hard for the side of Dragoons.
Well, we are going to go right into it here. I don't see a world where we don't continue with the red side winning. I think this is such a red side winning game. Like, you're right. Like, here's the thing with Chuds, right? If we smash lane, we win the game. I don't think we've drafted very good lanes. I don't think we win team fights. I just don't really know what Chud's draft is meant to accomplish other than egoing. We are seeing the 3 walk in. They're spotted an award. They're not going to accomplish anything here. The other issue, I mean, everyone's pathing for bot this game. And Chuds don't win the 3v3. What am I witnessing?
Lord.
What am I witnessing? We lose the Nautilus flash. We lose our... Did we actually think that was going to work?
I mean, honestly, I don't blame him, right? Like, I think to myself, what a wonderful world for Chud here if you are if you're coping a little bit, right? Because the thing is, right, you walk into the enemy jungle, you think to yourself, well, you know, we have 3 here, it should be fine. I should be able to just steal away, you know, Dragoon's jungle here. Zen's not going to be able to do anything about it. The last game, there was an early invade, and it worked out just fine. It just turned into a vertical jungle. Instead, this time it is going to be Snapseed forced to flash away to safety. Chud, once again, going to get punished for a few of these ego checks. Right? If you're going to be flipping the coin, sometimes it's not going to be coming up in your direction.
Yeah, well, it's certainly a coin flip. I agree with you there. Ulis, though, right now, going to be taking a lot of damage. Can Goofy Boy Joe finish the job? The answer is no, as he flashes away. Lucian's still able to maintain his flash. No sums left for Chud. Both flashes still available for the Dragoons. Goofy Boy Joe and Ulis both 1 hit away from death as... I mean, Zin not even done his red buff. Trundle is going to his 5th camp here. Youch. Youch, kabibbles.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough one, to say the least here. Honestly, my biggest concern for the side of Chud here is this top lane, right? I mean, oh my god, what a dredge line.
Dredge line, Useless, going to be stunned for days. The first one does go over to Goofy Boy Joe. He is going to be looking for the second kill. Nautilus does try to hold the tower. That was a brilliant dredge line from Snapski. That genuinely might keep them in this game a little bit longer. Goofy Boy Joe's so close to death there, but he's not going to fall just yet. They're going to push the wave, get a nice back, and now it's going to be on Trundle to kind of help them break out of the funk they just found themselves in.
Yeah, knives all of a sudden just put into the driver's seat. That's cash in from Draven. So high value. At the very least, it was the first kill of the game, so it's going to be able to get you as much value as possible on this Draven. Let's take a look at this gank, though.
Gank coming in from the Trundle. Does get a very, very nice pillar in, and I don't think there's anywhere for Mark Boots to go. Does try to find the flash. Trundle going to go under the turret. Doesn't find the stun he was looking for, though, and Trundle is going to go down. Zin on the top side means he's not going to be able to follow. Great gank from the Trundle is going to open up that Talia to some more roams, and breaking Talia out of that lane could be one of the biggest things that Trundle can do this game. If Zen can help Talia get out of this lane, if Earl is able to start moving once they hit 6, that's how you get this Lucian back in the game.
Beautiful stuff coming in from Zen there. That Pillar of Ice was just placed in exactly the spot necessary to make sure that Marcus couldn't just walk out for free. In the meantime, is going to be another matchup. The 1v1.
Oh, God. It is a decimation there. It is Nautilus finding everything. The benefit is Nautilus gets the kill, and I believe there's quite a few stacks on Goofy Joe. Right now, you really do need to find a kill on Goofy Boy Joe before he goes down. He got a lot of stacks after he got those early kills. Now here's going to come the Trundle. Trundle doesn't have flash, though. Goofy Boy Joe should just be able to walk right out of this, get another back, get even more items onto that Draven Nautilus.
Yeah, I mean, Knives right now on this Draven is just doing so much work here. At the very least, Snapseed taking up that kill means that there's going to be even more pressure in this bot lane. argue that obviously Draven gets a lot more from these kills than any other AD carry does, but more importantly, Draven's existence in the game rewards him for, simply being alive, simply existing. Right? So the longer that Draven exists without getting shut down, the more and more terrifying he gets, the more and more respect he just fully demands. And speaking of respect, not nearly enough respect on this top side from Shadow Excalibur.
Silly boy Joe gonna be able to find himself the first kill in that lane, and then Akali pick has been putting in work. We've seen it pushed up almost all game. We've been seeing it get now that first kill in that top side. Dark Seal is going to be stacked as well. There's a level of confidence coming from Silly Boy Joe. And I mean, Chuds wins this game if they can win every lane. And right now, 2 lanes pretty strong right now for the Chud. That Lucian pick not doing a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, Lucian Milio is one of those lanes that you pick because it is one of the strongest bot lane pairings that you could literally ask for. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter how strong your pairing is when the Draven gets first blood, right? And once again, I've said it once, I'll say it again, Draven just demands so much more respect the longer he stays alive. He gets rewarded purely by existing. So without cashing in, this Draven gets more and more terrifying and is going to start dragging in 1, 2, maybe even 3 extra people to that bot lane party. But 50 Cal Taco with the early dragon now going to be able...
Gonna take a lot of damage here. Goes down to a little chunk on that Nautilus roam. Narc Boots is gonna be able to find the Taliyah, which is great news for them. Draven gets away. They get the dragon. Still, everything's coming up.
Yeah, everything is looking so good for the side of Zafa's little Chuds here. But in the end, it is just going to be a matter of the early laning phase. What do you do against the late game scaling insurance?
That is going to be a bit of a difficulty. I mean, the one thing is, there is a Scion this game. I do think Scion... Oh, God. That's going to be the Crescent Guard. And this is when I say that the Trundle pick isn't as good as possible, because if Zin and Draven are hopping on him, he is going to get annihilated here. Milio able to walk up, but Lucian and Trundle already dead. That's going to be the blast go, but it doesn't send the Taliyah the way you hope. The wind become lightning does miss, but the root lasts for days. The CC coming from the Nautilus, Zin and Rise are able to get 3 kills over the Chuds. This is looking like a repeat of game 2.
It is looking like a repeat of game 2. I was skeptical about this draft from the get-go, but, Zafa's little Chuds, they say, we're just going to go for a skill check, and we are just better. When you just hands diff your opponent on repeat, it becomes a lot more difficult to believe in your strategies, to believe in your plans, to believe in your teammates, but you cannot be faltering now, not in playoffs. But right now, Dragoons, they've looked for these counter picks. They've looked for these good 2v2 lanes. They've looked for these good overall compositions, but they haven't found a way how to make these 5 pieces work together just yet. It is not quite an Exodia comp when the pieces aren't a way to win the game if you're not piloting them properly.
Yeah, the pieces of the puzzle aren't quite clicking just yet. And I think the one thing though is, once Draven has first item, that bot lane's gonna get even more difficult. He is taking a lot of damage still from that Lucian Milio, but anytime Nautilus gets the knockdown, that too. Rise is now going to be able to outroam the Taliyah with that Realm Warp and having that little bit of the benefit in lane. Trundle has not done nearly enough. I think one of the things with Trundle is invading is your friend, and we haven't found really any time that Trundle and Zin have been in isolation together. There's going to be a huge dredge line to keep the Draven alive. Draven able to turn it around. My God! Bow God, Maggle! Draven gonna find the double kill, and just like that, I mean, it's spelling disaster for the summer of Dragoons. And now, Akali opting into the 2v1, gets subjugated, but here comes Zinzao. Zinzao not having to deal with this. Get the round ball still available. No, not available. And now Mark's boost and Zin come and save their friend, that Akali. It's just free low across the rift for Zafa's little Chuds.
And Zafa's little Chuds going to use the power of friendship to make every single one of these 1v2s in their favor. Goofy Boy Joe, knives on that Draven, was in such a terrible position as far as Dragoons are concerned, until it turns out Snapsky was right in that bush. That Hex Flash does so much for the pressure on this Nautilus, but more importantly, the Realm Warps, the roams up from 50 Cal Taco, just every single member of Zafa's Little Chuds just finding a way how to play with one another.
Yeah, and it's looking really, really good. The skill jet worked, and now they are moving their pieces around the map just as they should be, and it's doing wonders for them right now. Draven, currently up 4-1, has a Bloodthirster. I mean, how do you even play into that anymore if you're Lucian? Talia hasn't been able to move. The Weaver's Wall has not been coming on good timings. It is being used more as a defensive tool or way back in the lane at this point. And when it comes to that Trundle, he's been constantly caught in outnumbered situations. It's just a bit difficult, and I think one of the issues I'm having with this draft from Dragoons now that we're looking back and having like this, Zen and Earl don't have the easiest way to play together, and when they won game 1, it was Zen and Earl on repeat just playing together. And it should Dragoons lose this game, which, I mean, let's face it, this is the way it's looking with the skill check comp. I want to see Earl and Zen back on something where they can like complement each other. That's going to be a huge stretch line. That's going to be the depth charge going forward onto the Lucian, leaving the Milio all by themselves. Yoink! Goofy Boy Joe says, "You're coming with me." The whirling death spells disaster. Stacks claimed. And now Goofy Boy Joe is feeling just a little bit silly with how big his pockets are filled with those gold, Chief.
Oh my god, Romeo, I'm doing my best to stay as positive as possible here, but what do you do when your Lucian walks into lane with 20 extra AD and 15% crit chance, and the enemy Draven walks in with a Bloodthirster? Like, it's literally impossible to play the game in the spot lane here if you're just stuck on the 2v2. But you can't ask for your jungle to help because you got a Trundle who really can't do much into this Draven. You can't ask your mid laner for help because Earl King is constantly getting stopped up by Mark Boots. Meanwhile, in the top lane, I don't know what you're allowed to call this, but this must be cruel and unusual punishment.
Oh yeah, this is a series of unfortunate events happening to Dragoons right now, and all of them are just coming up Chuds. I mean, they've proven they have the hands differential at this point. And I mean, it's got to feel like you've skill checked 3 lanes and you've won all 3 skill checks. And just like that, it's like, okay, well, they have the hands for sure. Yeah, I think they do. I think 100% the Chuds are going to win this. There's going to be the Weaver's Wall. They might find the Nautilus, but the moment Draven gets back to this fight, it's going to go down. And I mean, even with just Mark Boots and Zins out, they're putting in the work. 50 Cal, barely staying alive, does find the return kill. Here comes Draven. If this fight continues on, Milio goes down. Whirling Death's going to go through a little bit early here as Talia, I got bad news for you, buddy. So look, we wanted to call you about your car insurance,
no.
And unfortunately, you just didn't pay it in time, so your car's not going to take you back to base. The TP, not going to help. Goofy Boy Joe going to get another kill. If Draven's there, you win the fight. If Ryze is there, you win the fight. Oh, no. Oh, no. We got the bounty off 50 cal for 3 of us. Oh, no. Zafa's little Chuds. I mean, they're just smiling right now. They're probably sitting there thinking, do you think Zafa little pals are getting on round 1 as well, or are we just stealing their logo for the rest of this season? Like, it's just such a skill check.
Romeo, I thought Ambessa was gone already, but public execution is very much a way to describe this series because holy hell, Zafa's little Chuds are just unrelenting. 16-2, 14 minutes into the game. We were complaining that the dragon takes were a little bit slow on those previous games, but 2 dragons already under the belt of Zafa's little Chuds, and it is only getting worse for the Dragoons.
It's definitely not looking any better here. But what is looking better, shout out to Lad9110. Stop for the 6 month. You're the goat, Lad. We appreciate it. At this point, I think that's the one benefit from this game at the end of the day. Because Zen, hey, look, the Xin Zhao is here. Zen has no fear into the Troll. The Troll King running right back to his heist. his little ice throne because, I mean, the jungle's not his. That's for sure. Sion going to be taking it back because he knows there are people around. It's just, I mean, 0-5 Lucian. How do you play the game with an 0-5 Lucian? That champion will no longer be a champion in this game unless for some reason we go 50 minutes in and he gets to his 6th item. Then maybe he has a chance against Draven. Oh, hi. You stepped up into your jungle? Sorry, not your jungle. This is free real estate for 50 Cal Taco. Please go back to the home screen and think about your actions for locking Lucian Milio.
God, like, this is just messed up at this point, Romeo. Right, like, we're seeing so much of the time. Hold on.
I mean, there is the flash. They do get the kill. It's a shutdown. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but that is, in theory, Dragoons favored. It is, in theory, Dragoons favored. You get the tower. You get the kill. It's the first time we've seen a play go in their favor.
Yeah, it's the first time in a little bit that we've seen the play go in their favor. Well, once again, you know, he is going to be on to Mark Boots and Knives right now, just tanking up the entirety of the culling. Pops the barrier, but oh, there we go. Lucian Milio able to win a 2v1. It is possible.
It is possible. Lucian finds the win there. I'm kind of shocked, but he does find the win. There's going to be a dredge line on to the side. I mean, the Nautilus is rotating on the repeat at this point. 50 Cal uses that Crescent Guard, but does get stunned. Oh my god. Wait, Chuds. Chuds is throwing a little bit. Wait.
A little bit's definitely one way to put it. A stun going down on to Silly Boy Joe, and all of a sudden, things are looking more and more terrifying for the side of Zafa's little Chuds. Remember, a skill check team composition is a skill check team comp because you don't win on paper. Oh my god!
Another shutdown gone. Sion with another shutdown. They've claimed that was all the shutdowns except for the one on Nautilus at this point. This could be their way back into the game. They've closed a little bit. They've gotten a couple thousand gold back in favor. They are still 5,000 gold down. Cloud Drake is spawning here. It should still go over to the pockets of Chud. Chud should still be able to have a soul on this one. There's going to be the slow on Zen KS. So that's going to be dragging over to the pocket of Chuds. Puts them on soul point. We do see the rotations trying to come out for Dragoons, but I think it's too little too late here. They are going to go right for 50 Cal Taco, who does dodge the bounce, but he does go down to jungle for jungle here. I think Chuds are just getting a little bit overzealous. I think they found themselves ahead. They're like, we're winning every fight. We can just have the rift to ourselves. And now they're overplaying their cards just a little bit. And you can't go all in when your cards are meant to be folded there. Goofy Boy Joe now finding the fight with Sion. We're seeing Sion is going to be a bit of a threat this game. Every member of this team does start to have problems with fighting Sion late game. And right now, it seems like it's only going to be the Rise of the Akali who can do damage to him.
I mean, that is what it feels like right now, but look at Knives on this Draven. Trying to position for a dragon take, but it's Zen who's there first.
It should just be their dragon for Dragoons. It's going to be the first dragon they're going to be able to get this game. And there it is. It's going to be claimed over, but the fight is going to break out. Snapsky is going to be the first one caught. Akali does find a little bit of a land in the back line. Trundle going to be putting a stop to that. It's a 4v5 right now for Zafa's little Chud. Trundle goes over the wall after a mistaken blast cone. Can they continue the fight is the real question. It doesn't look like it's going to be continued. Zafa's little Chud once again lose more gold. Now the gold gap only at 3.8k.
Might only be 3.8k, but there's still a mountain to climb if you're going to be able to put yourself back into a winning position. Early on into the draft, I was criticizing Dragoons' decisions with this draft, saying, hey, you know, you can't just go for the counter picks. You have to do something a little bit more proactive for these plays. But if Zafa's little Chuds are looking just to skill check, just to ego, what better way to check someone's ego than with a counter pick that doesn't allow them to play the way that they want to?
I think Zafa, they just kind of need a reset. They need to go back to finding the right lane assignments and go back to just taking good fights. Keep that Nautilus around your Draven. Keep the rotations going well. You can't keep getting caught like this. You can't be showing up late to fights. Just go back to the lane assignments. Go back to the rotations. You were out-rotating them originally. You got to be continuing that style of play. There's going to be another dive coming in on that top lane. They do find the Sion for free here and are all going to walk out. And we just need more plays like that if Zafa wants to close up this game.
Yeah, we need more plays like that for closing out the game. But the question is, how are you going to be able to drag the game back into your favor if you're the Dragoons here? That is definitely not the answer. A 1v1 is always going to go into Zafa's little Chuds favors. There's still so many kills up.
The subjugate goes, but it's still 3 members on top of that Trundle. He is going to go down. The Crescent Guard is going to stop the calling from being able to do enough damage to take down 50 cal Kadako. And I mean, just look at that rise. 8, 2, and 5. Mark Beats is off the charts this game.
Off the charts is definitely one way to put it. Mark Boots able with that rise, not only with the Realm Warp, but with those boots, just walking around the map as quickly as possible with that Swift March, with that Ghost, with what I'm almost certain is a huge amount of gold in the pocket. 10 stacks on a Dark Seal already. I mean, you might have some of the higher deaths on your team, but if 2 or 3 deaths is the highest amount, your team's feeling good, honestly, right? 22 kills to 8. This should be a very simple game for Zafa's little Chuds to win, but they keep on EO checking. They keep on seeing, hey, what can I actually make happen? And that's the one opportunity that Dragoons have to get back into the swing of things.
The EO checks is what's been kind of forcing Dragoons. I mean, it's what got Chuds ahead, but like when you keep doing it later into the game, it is also what can cost you. But at the moment, they have been finding their gold gap back. They're back to a 6,000 gold lead. Dragon spawning them into 40. They are looking for a pick right now on Euless. This is a team fight without Rise, and I feel like fighting without Rise is where things could be turned. The question is, will it? We do see the Weaver's Wall keeping Akali out of the fight. Calling going to go through, does a little bit of damage. There's going to be the Dreadful Line to stop at that. Akali, though, with the perfect execution onto the Milio. There's going to be Knives on top of Goofy Boy Joe. Here comes Mark Boots, though, and this is where we start seeing the annihilation. Mark Boots so far ahead. Good night to that Scion. Goofy Boy Joe going to be able to claim the kill, claim some of their stacks. And it's a free turnaround, though, for Euless, who's able to find the Xin Ao off the back of it. It's a 1-for-1 trade overall here. However, if Euless and Milio step too far up, there is the Akali waiting in the wings trying to kill them. This is going to be it, the flash forward, but they miss the Shuriken. And just like that, this play should be dead for Chuds.
Should be dead. No objectives available just yet. 50 seconds on that Cloud Drag, and it will be Soul Point. Now, these Dragons have been contested time and time again by both of these teams, but this time it feels like Zafa's little Chuds might actually decide to play it out in a way that doesn't require